And hello, and welcome to another edition of Circle of Friends. I'm so glad that you decided to click that link and join in the conversation with this amazing YouTube Live conversation that we have periodically. And I'm just so honored to have you guys here. Man, a lot of great stuff going on in the world of the podcast. I don't know if you saw the amazing interview that I did yesterday that got posted on Easter with my buddy Kagan Cox of Kagan's Coffee and Crepes. Great interview. He had a great story to tell, so I encourage you, if you haven't had the chance to check it out, go do so. It's worth your time and all that good stuff. So, yeah, thanks for tuning in. All the abilities of joining in the conversation are available at your fingertips right now. So, just talk about how your Easter was. Did you have a lot of fun with your family, your friends? Did you do Easter egg hunts? Did you go to church? All that good stuff. Talk about what you did on Easter and the impact that had on you, and the positivity that you're going to take from that as well. So, a lot of big changes, like I said, have happened here on the podcast. I've tried to do a lot of things that have been able to, make it a better viewing experience for you. And I really hope that you have taken the time to really check it out and see firsthand what's going on. If you haven't been to the Circle of Friends website, check out the Circle of Friends area there, where we do have a brand new question of the month. And let's just go through that really quick. This month starts with fun and games with lots of pranks. How can we keep that fun and laughter going the rest of this month and going forward? Smiling and laughing is a great way to not only live a positive life, but also cheer up others who might need it. Did you know smiling is one of our first facial expressions, even moments after birth? Smiling can help you live longer. It can help boost your immune system. There are various different types of smiles. Smiling can be as contagious as the common cold or even flu. Tell a joke, tell a joke, make more smiles. Maybe you could have time to go see a funny comedy show or even funny movie with friends or family. What can you do this month to make more smiles and laughter? This month, let's see how we can build others up by doing just that. Do what you can, not what you can't. Be that person today. It's a great little conversation piece there. If you want to talk about laughter and maybe talk about some April Fool's jokes that you fell for. I know on YouTube there's a lot of people that take pride in their efforts to fool people. Talk about that. Share your experiences with that this year. Because I think in the midst of all this stuff that we're going through, a little humor, a little laughter doesn't hurt. Now, that doesn't mean that our jokes go too far and hurt people's feelings or whatever. I'm talking about good, wholesome, put a smile on your face and gives you a good laugh for a little bit type of humor. Also on the Circle of Friends website, we have our prayer request section. Haven't had anybody send anything in as of yet, but I did keep a couple from last month. All the people affected by the extreme cold weather in Texas. I know there's still a lot of people dealing with the aftermaths of all that. So keep those people in your thoughts and prayers. And then also the family and friends affected by the shootings in our country last month. At the end there was the shootings in Colorado, I believe, and one other state as well. So keep that in your thoughts about those people. And it's just sad that our country ends up going that way, and people choose violence over communication, or even communication about their feelings and all that stuff. So, that's a great thing to talk about too. The best thing that we can ever do for ourselves is just be open and communicate about stuff that's going on in our lives. There's so many times where we struggle, we have fears, we get upset, and we just keep it all in. And we don't talk about it. We don't do anything to express what's really going on. And that can be more damaging than anything else in our life. So now is a good time to consider the benefits and opportunities that can come from just being open and talking about your feelings and your emotions. So think about that as we go forward today, and also going on in the future as well. So basically, if you're new to Circle of Friends, what this is all about is it's a time for us to come together as a community and just talk about the positive things that are going on in our life. Maybe you have a significant event coming up that you would like to share that's in your area. Just make sure anything that you post is appropriate. Anything negative or anything like that will be deleted, and you could even be blocked. And I don't want to do that. This is a place to just be positive and encouraging. And so do that today. So if you're a first-time Circle of Friends viewer, welcome. And so far we talked about what we did during Easter. I guess I haven't done that yet, but I will go into that. Basically, I went to church and enjoyed a nice, inspiring service with music and worship. And then I had some brunch, and then came and home and did the interview with Kagan Cox, and pretty much spent the rest of the day editing and making sure that everything was good on that. So pretty eventful day yesterday. But yeah, it was a good day. And so going on this week, just doing the work on the website, podcasts, hopefully. But I figured what a great way to start the week on a Monday with a circle of friends after a very, what can be a very positive holiday of Easter. So anyways, that's what happened yesterday. I had an opportunity to talk to some family members yesterday, which was nice. I talked to both my adoptive family, and also I got to talk to my birth mom, which was great. Yeah, so that's pretty much what I did then. So go ahead and join in the conversation about that. We also talked about our question of the month, which you can find on the Kent Holste podcast website under Circle of Friends. And there's a little good paragraph of a little thing that I talked about. We'll go over that again before we sign off as well. And then we also talked about prayer requests. By the way, about the prayer requests, send your prayer requests if you have any. You don't have to go into detail. You don't have to say names. You don't even have to say it's you. Send that to kentholstepodcast@gmail.com and do that there. I've been trying to work on finding some other people to do interviews with, and I am still waiting on 2 people to set up a time, but nothing has been set in stone as far as setting anything up. I put out a invitation to a YouTuber that is rocking the world with his amazing abilities and being invited to not only the Today Show, but has made appearances multiple times now on WWE. I'm not going to say who that is because I don't want to, say anything or do anything that might jeopardize that. But I'm hopefully going to talk to a fellow YouTuber who has an incredible life, an incredible story, and a lot of it involves his family, which is great. Hopefully that's going to go through. I just sent an email out today for that, so hopefully that works out. But besides that, if you know somebody who has a positive and encouraging story about their life, go ahead and shoot me an email as well at the Kent Holste podcast at gmail.com email address there. And also, if you have ideas for podcast topics as well, I'm always open to doing some other people's ideas and thoughts, because you guys are just as important as being involved with this as I am here. So this isn't just my podcast. This is also yours as well. But yeah, and then the podcast I've been working hard on those. The most recent one I've done was about regret, and then I also did one that same day about what makes you feel good. That was one that I really enjoyed doing there. Did self-confidence, faith, not giving up hope, who are you and where you come from, value of life, hate, memories, opening up for yourself and others, positivity, bullying, and so much more is on that podcast link. The blogs, there's a lot of things I've been working on that. Haven't posted one actually in a little while. The last one I did, it looks like, was on the 12th of last month, so I'm due for putting one out here. But yeah, that's what's been going on with the website there, Sports Talk. Check that out. This month I will be doing 2 pro wrestling unboxings, one being Pro Wrestling Loot, which usually comes first in the mail, and then Pro Wrestling Crate usually comes closer to the end of the month. Those will be coming very, very soon. And then, as I discussed, I do believe on a prior Circle of Friends, I will be looking into doing another unboxing that is not pro wrestling. So keep your eyes out for that. I wonder what it could be. Anyways, so this week is actually, if you're a wrestling fan, a pretty big week of wrestling. Tonight, of course, there's AEW's show that just started. Evolution, I do believe, is what they call it. And then, of course, WWE has their main show, Monday Night Raw. Tomorrow on Tuesday on Access TV is Impact Wrestling's TV show. And also, AEW has their AEW Dark broadcast on YouTube on their channel. Wednesday is AEW Dynamite along with competing. For now, it's going to change. The WWE's NXT broadcast soon will be moved to Tuesday nights. But this week is a big week for WWE as it is WrestleMania week. So coming up then on Thursday, I do believe is an event Wednesday, and I think it's either Thursday and Friday. I would have to double check this. WWE has their pay-per-view for NXT along with the WWE. Let's see. I'm just looking at it now. So NXT's 2-day event for their show, which is NXT TakeOver. Let's see. It's hard to see what they're doing because they don't really put anything about their shows. Let's see. So I do believe it's Thursday and Friday is the 2-day event for NXT, and then Saturday and Sunday is the 2-day WrestleMania event. But I will have to find out when the actual Hall of Fame. They don't even have any of this information on their website, which is, you would think they would put all that at the beginning of their stuff, but nope, they don't. But if you know any of that information, put that in the comment spot, because it's a big week of pro wrestling, and of course everybody is interested about WrestleMania. I'm not too keen on it. I'm not impressed by what's going on. I don't think they have much of a good card for this year's WrestleMania compared to past years. And of course, this year, everything is being switched over now. I think this is the last week for the WWE. Actually, I think it's official now. They're completely moved over to NBC Universal's Peacock app, which is interesting. There's been a lot of controversy with that because of the Peacock channel making a lot of editing and taking out a lot of the content that the WWE did because of language and actions that they did that weren't really appropriate, which is frustrating to a lot of wrestling fans because you take that content away. A lot of that was the Attitude Era with DX and all that stuff. I actually watched a little documentary on YouTube. Can't remember what it was about or what the name of it was, but actually I do. ESPN did a like a little news story segment that was about an hour long about the effects of what WWE did. Back then it was WWF with language and how kids were, reenacting things and getting in trouble, throwing out, suck it signs and all that stuff at school towards other people and teachers. And they interviewed kids and asked them, do you think it's appropriate? And, it was interesting to see what kids said. Some kids were like, oh, I don't see a problem. Other kids were like, yeah, it's not very appropriate, but I watch it, But it was quite interesting to watch that. So anyways, let's see, what else can we talk about that's been going on? The baseball season just started. I'm a huge baseball fan. I like the Red Sox. Hopefully they have a good season. They start off their season facing the Orioles, which is kind of their usual start off for their seasons. Big news in the NFL this past week about them moving from a 16-game season to a 17-game season. If you got your thoughts about that, put that in the comment spot. I'm interested to see what having a extra game would look like. There's a lot of people who are giving a lot of negative feedback as far as a 17 game season, not including playoffs and all that, I don't think. But, I think that anytime you can add a little bit more football, it's a good thing, especially the NFL, because besides the Canadian Football League, they're pretty much the top dog compared to that in the indoor football leagues. But you know what? I'm kind of shocked that the XFL hasn't started, or there hasn't been any talks about it since the big news that The Rock, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, that is, has some sort of buy-in on that since Vince McMahon sold the XFL. If you know any details about that, put that in the comment spot. Let's get more into the groove of things about what this Circle of Friends is all about. It's about lifting up people. It's about being a community. And, a lot of people ask, what does the logo really stand for Circle of Friends? And basically, when that was designed, it was the talk that, when you come as a group or a community, we thought of it as a way that people join in a circle and kind of reach out for each other looking for advice. So those hands that you see in the logo that are reaching out towards the circle, those are hands of people being supportive, being those people that are reaching out for help. So I thought that was a really cool design on that. So that's what that's all about. But anyways, let's get into the topic for the month. And I'll read that again here. Hopefully I won't stumble over the words. This month's thought for the month is this month starts with fun and games with lots of pranks. How can we keep that fun and laughter going the rest of this month and going forward? Smiling and laughing is a great way to not only live a positive life, but can also cheer up others who might need it. Did you know smiling is one of our first facial expressions, even moments after birth? Smiling can help you live longer. It can help boost your immune system. There are different types of smiles. Smiling can be as contagious as the common cold or even flu. Tell a joke. Make more smiles. Maybe you could have time to go out and see a comedy show or even a funny movie with friends or family. What can you do this month to make more smiles and laughter? This month, let's see how we can build others up by doing just that. Do what you can, not what you can't. Be that person today. I think that was a great little thing for this month, especially with, how April Fool's is kind of the beginning interaction that we have with each other. And I think it's important that we remember the significance of what smiling and laughter can do for ourselves and for other people. So let's touch base on that really quick. What things do you do to kind of entertain other people? What do you do to kind of make people laugh and try to, build people up by doing that? For me, a lot of my jokes that I do are what I think funny. Sometimes they're not. But, I've always been the type of person that, if someone's hurting or someone's going through a rough time, I try to somehow make a joke to kind of lift their spirits or say something that is outrageous to kind of get them to forget about what they're thinking about. The significance of doing that, is a big deal. We get so trapped within our personal thoughts, our fears, our anger, that sometimes it's good just to stop and just think about what's going on. What are we doing? What are we doing right? What are we doing wrong? And I think laughter and smiling is a great way to put that all aside and just have a little fun. There's some people out there that have to be serious all the time. How fun is that? Don't you think it would be better if you were able to, joke around, say something funny or do something funny? A prime example is, of course, I'm going to use Austin because Austin always has ways of just turning something into a joke. He, does impressions of movies that he likes, and I think it's fun. And there was times where I would be upset, and he would just say something so off the wall that I couldn't help but laugh. And sometimes he would go so far to continue that. I would laugh so hard that I couldn't breathe, or I would start crying because it was just so hilarious. And I think that, I'm so blessed to have a friend like that that's able to create such a feeling like that. I don't know about you, but I absolutely love to have that moment where I can step away. Because sometimes we just search for that. Sorry. Sometimes we just search for that ability to just walk away, step back, but we don't know how. And sometimes that key to making that happen is someone stepping in and doing something like that. I give a lot of props to him because he's always done something good. Another person that always made me laugh is my good buddy Marty. Marty's quite a bit older than me. He has had a good life with some good memories, and I always enjoyed hearing his stories and just having a few good laughs, whether it be about his life or his brother, who happens to create a lot of good laughs. But yeah, it's good to just let it all out and just let a good laugh out. It's healthy. It's good for you. How many muscles does it take to smile? If you know that answer, put that in the comment spot. Let's see how many people know. See how many people will respond to that. And what's the benefits of something that I didn't mention that are caused by laughing? The good things that can come. So talk about that. You want to talk about laughing and joking? What was a good, wholesome, appropriate comedy or comedian that you enjoy watching? Whether it be past or present. I always like going on YouTube and searching Robin Williams' old comedy skits. I always enjoyed his energy and his excitement, his impressions. I think all of us who are a fan or were a fan of Robin Williams, was his original comedy, I believe, was Mork and Mindy. I was a huge Mork and Mindy fan. Thought it was great TV show. But I think this generation would more know him from the movie Aladdin and other good movies as well. He was just such a great guy who unfortunately needed some positivity, I think. If we all knew that he was struggling, I think there would be more people that would have reached out and done something. And it just shows the significance, the importance of, being there for people. You never know what people are going through. You never know the situations that are laying heavy on their heart. And the only way we're going to know is if we attempt or even try just to make an impact. I was talking about this again with my buddy Kagan. I was like, there needs to be more people like him. Kagan is a business owner, and he hires, young kids that are looking for a new opportunity, a new beginning. Perhaps he said even ones that don't have any prior work history. And they may come from troubled pasts. And it's a great opportunity for him to be a witness and tell his story. And it's just amazing the thought process that he has as far as, being there for people. And I think there's so much that we can take from that. He even jokes around, as he talked about in his interview, about, saying things that were like, oh, hey, if you don't start messing up, I'm going to have to let you go. It's things like that. He's using his ability to help other people through his experiences, but also he likes to be positive by joking around and having fun. And sometimes you need that. There's so many times like where I've gone to work for different places and everybody is just, not having any time or having the ability to be themselves and to have a little fun, to joke around. Everybody's serious. And I think without having that ability to have that downtime to be themselves and to joke and to laugh and to have fun, that makes for a better work environment. That makes for more opportunity for people to get to know each other and just be a good support base. And I think it's important that we focus on that and we do a little bit more time give a little more time to look into how we can be that person by just doing something out of the norm, joking, saying something funny, doing something funny. Maybe you act like you accidentally weren't paying attention, run into a wall or something. I don't know. It's a little silly things that you think aren't funny, but it could be really funny to somebody else. And I'm one of those easily entertained. I'll laugh at anything. I love TV shows that are funny, like Whose Line Is It Anyways? I could watch rerun after rerun, and it would still be just as funny as if I saw it for the first time. I also enjoy watching Impractical Jokers. I think those guys are comedic geniuses for what they do. And the best thing is they're best friends. And even though they give each other a hard time and they make fun of their fears and try to make the most out of it, that's what good friends do. They give you a little hard time. And I enjoy that. And I usually watch those shows before I go to sleep. And there's no better way to go to bed and go to sleep than having something funny on your mind or just all that stuff. It's that healthy for you, So I enjoy little comedy stuff like that. What do you enjoy that are comedies on TV? Let's talk about that. Because I already talked about, Whose Line Is It Anyway, Impractical Jokers. So talk about shows like that you enjoy. Once again, make it appropriate. We do have probably young people that watch this that don't really need to see inappropriate stuff. But yeah. So I try to keep these about 30 minutes long. And we've come to that point where it's time to wind things down. I'm going to throw in one of my little reminders about Circle of Friends, and we'll be right back. Are you looking for a positive place to join a great community? Well, go to the Kent Holste Podcast website, where you can find Circle of Friends. This is a page to be supportive by sharing special events that are positive or even letting others pray for you. A place that people can come together without fear of being judged, no matter race or disabilities. A time to be a part of that person that takes the time to care for others when it's needed most. We are all not just friends, we are family. It's Circle of Friends on the Kent Holste Podcast website. Check it out today. So as we wind things down on this edition of Circle of Friends on YouTube Live, let's just do a quick recap of what we talked about. We talked about how our Easter was, so share that when you watch this. So it doesn't matter if we're live now or you're watching this later on. Just join in the conversation and see what we can come up with. We also talked about the question and the thought of the month. And then we talked about prayer requests. If you got prayer requests, always send those to KentHolsteyPodcast@gmail.com. Currently, we just have 2 prayer requests on the Circle of Friends portion of the website, which is all the people that are still affected by the cold weather that we had here that are still dealing with that. And then also the family and friends of those that were affected by the recent shootings last month in Colorado and the other state that tragically had to deal with that. We also talked about this week is a huge week for professional wrestling, as not only it's the normal televised and online shows for professional wrestling, but this week it is WrestleMania week, as Saturday and Sunday from the same field where the Super Bowl champions of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is hosting WrestleMania, which you can see live on Peacock. And make sure you get that, because the WWE Network is no longer working, as far as I know. It's all available now on Peacock, the app. So this week is big. They got the NXT takeovers. They got the WWE Hall of Fame, which from my understanding, since the WWE Hall of Fame did not happen last year, they are doing both the 2020 and the 2021 Hall of Fames at the same time, which is awesome. So they get to honor those well-deserved superstars and famous people that are joining that hallway, wherever it is, of the WWE Hall of Fame. So make sure you check out AEW Elevation tonight on YouTube, and then also Monday Night Raw is tonight on the USA Network. Or check your local listings wherever you are in this world of how you can watch Monday Night Raw. This is the go home show week, so hopefully they tune it up a notch compared to what they've had, because it really hasn't been too exciting. We also talked about the question of the month, the thought for the month about laughter. Talk about what laughter does for you, the people that make you laugh, the TV shows or comedies that you enjoy. Make sure they're appropriate, so the younger viewers don't get to content that they shouldn't be watching. I know how that is. I've been dealing with that before. But anyways, this is a time to be positive and encouraging. Also, by the way, we did talk about the interview that I conducted with my good buddy Kagan Cox from Kagan's Coffee and Crepes out of Washington State. Check him out. Check that interview out if you haven't had a chance. It is on the YouTube channel, as well as posted on the KentHolsteyPodcast.com website under interviews. And you can see that there with his little logo. So do that. And also like, share, and subscribe any of the content that you see, whether it be on the website or any of the social media sites as well. But most of all, please subscribe to this YouTube channel and ring that bell for notifications of new posts and all that good stuff. It's a lot of fun here on the Kent Holstey Podcast, and I try to do as much as I can. So to wind this down, as always, remember to think and be positive. Do what you can today, not what you can't. And also, I believe in you. Don't you think you should too? And if you see someone who served our country, whether it be military, police, fire, medical, take the 2 seconds that it takes to give them an elbow, give them a fist, and tell them how much you appreciate them. You never know how much they might appreciate that. Until the next time we talk, I'm Kent Holste. Thank you for watching Circle of Friends. Be safe, but most importantly, God bless.